I got out of the Navy in '71, and during the Navy I had river patrol, but then I didn't like that. Became a salvage diving officer, and I did some training out here in Coronado. And I said, my gosh, this weather's fantastic. So when I got out, I did all my diving stuff on the East Coast. But when I got out of the service, I said told my parents I was going to go back to California for a while, and then maybe after about 6 months or so, come back and build my home, build my future in the Midwest, where I'm from Iowa. But I got to San Diego. I got a job leasing cars. I didn't like that at all. I met Mike Neal and some others right away from running on the beach and doing stuff. And I don't know if he was involved in the Friendly Sons then, but this would have been 71, 72, 71. But as he got involved in it, and we were friends, I got involved in it, and the rest of our friends. Back then, the Friendly Sons was mostly, you'd go to the black tie dinner. It was always on St. Patrick's Day, and it was like at 6 o'clock or something like that downtown, and there were priests there. The bishop came one time. A lot of doctors. There were judges, and there were a lot of lawyers. And that's what the Friendly Sons primarily were. And then as us younger guys got involved, particularly Mike Neal, he was like a magnet for bringing people in. But I would say he's probably the most important person in the Friendly Sons in my subjective history with the Friendly Sons. And he's done so much, always opening his office to have the meetings, doing whatever he could to promote the Friendly Sons and bringing good people in. And but there were a lot of higher end professions, back in the early '70s and whatnot. It became a lot more relaxed as time, and the more people Mike Neal brought in, the more relaxed it became. Because that's the way he is. He brings that, as do others too. But the people that I got to know through the Friendly Sons were Dan Broderick, Leo Sullivan, Bob McNamara, Bob Harris, just a bunch of guys, wonderful guys. But another guy that was very important back then was Chuck Fox. Chuck Fox was very instrumental, and he put on his own. He went to put every month he would come out put a cork in it. And it brought in what was going on in the Friendly Sons, nice stories. He'd feature some things or whatever. And then, but I think as time went on, the new membership, so to speak, of the Friendly Sons, they didn't value put a cork in it, or Chuck Fox. And Chuck Fox was kind of a stubborn guy. The Friendly Sons are supposed to be friendly, right? But the Irish can have their way of doing things. But I would say I joined the Friendly Sons in the early '70s, and right away they asked me to join, to get on the board, and where you work your way up. At that time, I don't think it's heavy with people in it. I think you might be 12 years before you become president today. Back then, it was maybe only 6 or 7, not that many, not that many. But and they were the older guys, but wonderful people. There were a lot of union people were too. Were involved in the membership, which is different today, right? Quite a bit different. But then we actually, as we became active in the board and moved up, after we got out, we would after we served our year, then we would go to the meetings. But sometimes the younger people that are there, they got tired of us older guys trying to still push our way around. So I say, hey, let these people do what they want to do. We had our time. Let them have the time. So I stopped going to it. But I think Mike Neal still goes to it, and Leo Solomon would still go to it if he didn't try to let women get in there. The little devil. But he's that kind of a guy. But he has been very, very instrumental in the Friendly Sons too. Early on, he would offer up pro bono legal work that needed to be done for the Friendly Sons, just as his office mate Ryan did in transforming the Friendly Sons into a tax deductible thing. So early on, the Friendly Sons, we would get together and have the black tie event. There were hardly any other things going on.